been so beautiful. I'm gonna stay.
Look.
This marks the last day of the United States of America. By tomorrow, all mankind, and we will be visible from the Milky Way as a tiny little puff of smoke. I'm watching the earth crumble before my eyes. Giant ash cloud created by this super volcano will burst envelop Vegas, and then St. Louis, and then Chicago, and then at long last, Washington, D.C. will have its lights go out.
That guy's crazy, right, Daddy?
I don't think so.
This is ridiculous. It's been over half an hour. I tell you, the guy's a nut job.
Stop it, Gordon. No, hand me the phone again.
Daddy, what was that?
Nothing. Nothing.
But now, scientists have made a startling discovery. It seems there's a storm brewing deep within the Earth. A storm that is weakening our vital magnetic shield.
It's the buzz when I'm full of your sweet magnetic pull.
The Earth's magnetic field has been our protector for millennia, and now it appears it's about to go away.
It's how
The Earth's magnetic field is getting weaker rapidly.
We cannot guarantee that the magnetic field of the Earth is still going to be there 1,000 years from today.
Is our invisible shield about to disappear?
The question is not if that's going to happen, it's when that's going to happen.
Peace YouTube, this is Fleur Broom coming to you today to discuss another topic of discussion. Anyhow, family, I wanted to make this video as it is very relative at this moment in time. I probably prepared for this for over 10 plus years. This is a topic that you'll probably hear very commonly on YouTube. It is kind of like a projection of the dark cabal to make us all obsessed with it, but it is the reality of what is coming into manifestation. It is how the planet, Mother Gaia, Mother Tiamat, Mother Terra, how she clears and cleanses herself and goes and resets. We were talking about the pole shift. Many things are happening right now, and I gave a couple clips to speak about the pole shift as far as a scientific to speak on it at a scientific level. It is the pole shift is when the pole of the Earth shifts. It means that the magnetic field also begins to shift. It's the actual perimeters of the poles actually halt. They stop. It is an energetic type of resetting, meaning that every 26,000, 36,000 years, it's something to that level. I'm not sure of who, other than those reincarnated who actually have the memory, can actually make that number sound and definite. But it is when the magnetic field reverses, it inverts back to another level. It's just it is when the magnetic field will eventually, the Earth will halt its rotation and it will go back into inversion. Now, as I always speak about in my other videos, as you know, I know to be that we're going through and we're entering a new cycle. And because we're entering a new cycle, this is when generally you will get the pole shift, which will help in the resetting of the cycle. Not only is there a heightened of energy coming upon the planet right now, a heightened amount of energy sweeping the planet right now, just energetically. We're being bombarded with higher energy, really radiation from out in the cosmos to allot for this change to occur. Now they are trying to alter or halt or to negate those energies coming in that would give us a natural propensity to migrate too. Whenever things are occurring, anything planetarily as far as environmentally is concerned, such as earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons, the animals who are in their natural state of being, meaning they haven't been altered or genetically modified, so that their natural ability to sense anything that's changing in the field environment energetically or magnetically, they will know to leave a particular area and migrate out of an area of danger if a weather pattern is coming upon them that would cause harm, or something more so like a magnetic shift that would, sometimes cause earthquakes and what have you. So we're undergoing the beginning stages. Actually, we're actually midway through some of the pole shift symptoms. The magnetic field is shifting. If you look on your GPS, you'll see sometimes a shifting back and forth of the point, going from southeast, east, west. It'll move a little bit. Those who are working in the field of aviation will probably notice this more because they utilize their GPS more so than most of us. Sorry, I actually stopped a moment ago. So they will utilize their GPS to be able to navigate themselves in the airways. That's quite common, and they will notice the shifting of the magnetic field more so than most. The animals also will detail this. The birds, also the aquatic life is very sensitive to the magnetic field shifting and what have you. So the pole shift is occurring. It's already occurring. It's already underway. We are seeing aspects of the pole shift with a lot of the heightened environmental shifts. A lot more earthquakes in odd areas that are not necessarily earthquake type areas. We are starting to see environmental changes with the weather patterns, meaning that if you're living in the Northeast, you'll notice that it's it's warming up a little bit more than normal. The blooms of the flowers and the plants are off a bit. Our agricultural family would more so notice the cues of the plant life are off. Also, sometimes the migrational pattern of the birds or bees is offset because of the magnetic field shifting, and it's heightening. All this to say, we too are being affected, even with the amount of chemtrails that they're attempting to do to sidebar a lot of the radiation, gamma radiation that is coming out from the cosmos due to the shift. The magnetic, once the magnetic pole is slowing down, you will notice that we're more prone to getting more radiation. And those who are heightened in melanin tend to fare better with the heightened amount of radiation that comes in. Not all, but again, if your melanin is, your melanin, meaning the melanin that's actually on the surface, that spills onto the surface of your skin. And obviously there's melanin on the inside. There's many different people who have melanin that, their organs are highly melanated, but it doesn't necessarily spill on their skin. But the melanin does help as a sunscreen or a radiation screen to help shield from some of the gamma radiation that does come, especially heightened on a planet at this particular moment. All this to say, they're attempting to sidebar it, spraying chemtrails, contrails to offset the radiation, which helps a little bit, but it does not, because it also, leaches, all kinds of aluminum, barium, and other types of toxic metal chemicals out of the sky and gets onto the people, which we talked about, Magellans and all these kind of madness, all this madness that is accompanied with chemtrails and contrails. We are going through a change. And as you see, as the animals have have changed some of their migratory patterns during times when there is such a again, an imbalance in the weather patterns or environmental patterns of the earth. We too are being affected by it, and this is where you're seeing an heightened amount of those who are feeling the need to exodus out of the United Snakes of America. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. In the United States of America. I'm so patriotic. Patriotic. Anyway, so you're starting to see many people looking to move or migrate. I'd rather say migrate to other parts of the planet. And they think it is because of sociological things that are going on maybe in their country here in the States. It's actually something that's going on inside of them biologically that is propelling them. It is actually motivating them to migrate, to want to migrate away from any form of danger, which is happening environmentally. During a pole shift, all of the planet will be affected, but there are those parts of the planet, there's a particular part of the planet that does not get as affected as most. And that would be between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. And yes, between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. And because of that, you will see many people migrating in places like Central America and South America. It is a natural propensity of those to do that migration. Now, the Nazis got a heads up from the white talls. Big up to the white talls who gave them heads up to the Nazis. And the Nazis did their preempt migration back in the 40s, early 50s, and many of them are living cohesively in Central America, especially in places like Venezuela, Argentina, Paraguay, and in Brazil. They got the heads up from, time jumping, I like to call them time inceptors, called the white talls, who came and gave them intel in exchange for doing some, interesting biochemical experimentations, and also gave the Nazis a good amount of technology to allow them to fast forward into the future in other ways. But anyway, I'm sidebarring again. The time is now, family. You are starting to feel the natural cues of the migrational patterns of ourselves, and having the need to leave. And it is quite natural. And though we try to separate ourselves from animals and try to say that we're different than the aquatic life, we are quite affected by the biological field changing, and also the magnetic field inverting itself. We are going back into the first cycle. That's why the planet is heating up. That's why the planet is going to be more tropical. That's why there is a necessity for many people to merge or to create children with those who are heightened in melanation. It is all being perpetuated because the cycle is changing and the planet will be heating up. And yes, there will be parts on the planet that are safer, and there will be parts of the planet that are not. And because of that, we are having this discussion. And I wanted to let those know who are feeling these migratory patterns that is quite normal, and not to fight it, and to go with what you feel. And the more holistic you are, the more naturopathically inclined you are, the more that you are eating healthier, more from nature, the more you are making your body more natural, you will start to feel these natural cues to book leave. The United States also has some karmic debt to pay based on how it was created and the amount of disparaging behavior of those colonizers who have done great harm to the indigenous. And because of that, there is karmic debt that will be paid at this time. Many don't like this conversation. It just is what it is. Everybody thinks there's always karmic debt, good and bad, and that's based on judgment. Everything's relative. But there is a great amount of karmic debt. We pay karmic debt on a personal level, we pay karmic debt on a sociological level, and we pay karmic debt on a geographical level. And because of that, Oh, sorry. This is doing something weird in my phone. Because of that, there is also a necessity for those to migrate out of the United States. And I always say this to all to say is that be smart and be guided by your first mind, and always know that it is there is no need to run to go anywhere. You will be where you're meant to be during this particular time, during a shift. The pole shift is quite relative and relevant, and it is occurring. And you were starting to feel those biological cues and hues to actually make. I'm sorry, my phone is doing something quirky and weird, but you were actually feeling the biological. I think it's telling me to turn it. Technology. I'm a natural person. It's very difficult for me to adjust to technology, even though I can appreciate it. I do appreciate technology. Anyway, so the pole shift is underway, and as I've spoken before, it's interesting that you heard a particular rapper make a song talking about something that been speaking about for a while, the 144,000 who actually are the ones who will initiate the actual pole shift itself, the full-blown pole shift. When their consciousness rises to a heightened level, it's about over 60%. That's what I know to be. Once they reach that level of consciousness, that they will invoke the actual physical full pole shift. And part of that invoking and part of them getting to that point is this exodus that is now occurring with many people who are leaving to go to safer grounds. So it is time for you to start to pony up, get yourself in a position to make cognizant decisions about yourself and your family, so that you too will be able to follow your highest mind and be able to make migratory changes, so that you and your family are in a safer and more cohesive position for the next cycle, which is going to be absolutely magnanimous and beautiful. But it is a moment of a challenge, and I also think everything is relative and relevant. All these years of preparation, and Dr. Delbert Blair used to say, you don't really have to prep, because all you do is bring more of that field in. I stopped prepping based on the fact that I understood that it wasn't necessary. My consciousness would actually put me in a safe place regardless if I was in that state of being or in a higher state of consciousness. You will be where it is right for you to be at the time you're meant to be. And we make all these conscious contracts previous to us coming into this incarnation, if you believe in reincarnation. So family, it's on and popping. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold the phone. I don't like doing my videos on phones because I have to hold it. I don't have like a selfie stick. Even though they're actually quite useful. Anyway, so get ready. We're getting close to that time, and you're starting to see the migration occur in droves. Many people, especially people of color, are leaving. And I say to you, be smart about the decisions you make. Make sure you align with those of same and similar frequencies. And always do things without fear. Do it with the thought of not running away, but starting over. I come from people that came from another country, didn't speak the language, and they left for a life that was different and for their, for the betterment of their offspring. And this is how you should approach your exodus out of, if you decide to leave this particular country and trend yourself into another world. But I just want to make this video. I know I'm making it long, and I'm kind of drawing it a little bit because I'm tired of holding the phone. But start to manifest and follow those cues. It will eventually save your life and those that you love. And this is the time that you should follow and listen to that higher mind that is edging you and propelling you to make decisions that will eventually create and really make up what your future will be like. So anyway, the pole shift's on and popping. I look forward to the changes. I accept all that is necessary to begin a new cycle. and we shall see what will come. But and you know, as you know, on my platform we discuss this. Not so much often, but it is part of our conversation, and be interested to see what you guys think of this. Do you feel any of the effects of the pole shift? Do you think that's relevant? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's all you know, smoke and mirrors? What's your opinion of this? I'm really interested. You know, again, I'm open for all forms of conversation as long as it's respectful. Everybody has a different formulated form of consciousness, and we want to be respectful of that. So please, you know, let me have your opinion, and we'll chat later. Peace.